I declare and decree in this season, I will submit to the voice of the Holy Spirit calling my name. I am walking in the fullness of His purpose and plan for me and my life. It is my
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another episode of She Emerged, the Manifestation of Me, with me, your host, Shalimar Cherie. So I know it's been a while. I missed you all greatly. I was like, I need to engage um, with my folks because I appreciate you so much for supporting the podcast, supporting the channel. I love to hear from you. I appreciate your concerns, your comments, um, and your interaction. I think it's awesome. It kind of just makes my day. I know I said in the last few broadcasts that I had some big news to share with you all. And that big news is that God saw fit to relocate my family and I. So I took a huge leap of faith. I am a Jersey girl born and raised. Um, and now my family and I are Floridians. So I went from all that good cold and snow and even temperature weather to now being on fire every day. It is super duper warm here. Um, it has good days and bad days, I have to be honest. So it's not always blazing hot, but not the even Jersey weather that I am accustomed to. Being from Jersey, I am a hoodies and sweats type of girl. I love my jeans and my Uggs. Um, and unfortunately, this season I will be wearing shorts for Christmas. So, listen, to God be all the glory. Let's see where this new adventure takes my family and I. I'm excited, anxious a little bit, um, but more excited to see what this new season will bring. So, now that you guys know my good news, well, some of my good news, but there's some other good news that I'm going to have to wait a little bit before I share it with you. Um, I wanted to hop on today because I have been watching the news, which I normally try my very best not to do. I've also discovered TikTok, which is hilarious. Um, and what I've been seeing a lot lately is this Shanquilla Robinson case. And this particular case hit me kind of hard. It kind of triggered me because A, I'm a woman with friends, frenemies. I've encountered both. But I also have daughters. And I have a daughter that is close in age with this young woman who was allegedly unalived by people she considered to be her friends. Now, we all know that at this point, they were never her friends, more like frenemies. Um, however, in this particular situation, she took a trip allegedly to with her alleged friends. I'll say that. And unfortunately, this young woman did not make it home. As a mom with children her age, um, I would be livid, along with devastated, that um, my child left my home and did not make it back. For me, one of the worst parts of this particular story is that one of the alleged perpetrators um, was a long-term frenemy, and I'm going to use frenemy because there's no way you were her friends, um, who had been in her home. And this is based on an interview I watched with her mother and her father. Shout out to the North Carolina Beat. This young man has really done an amazing job keeping the story on the forefront. But anyway, so one of the young men allegedly involved, um, was literally a friend to the family. Was at their home, traveled with them, and allegedly came back and spent 4 days with them before they received the autopsy report. I'm gonna try to stay in the right vein here. But I'm sure some of you are thinking exactly the same thing that I'm thinking. The audacity. It's the audacity for me to bring your behind into my home, knowing full well, allegedly, what you had done and what had transpired with my child, and sit your tail on my sofa, eat my food, smile in my face. Sir, I, I don't understand. See, I'm a woman of a certain age. And back in my day, when we didn't like someone or we had disagreements with someone, we would fight and argue. We weren't exempt from that. However, we never went out of our way to unalive somebody. We would fight, disagree, and move on from it. Like, I don't understand where we are in this world today where that has become so common. Because unfortunately, once you see something, then you start seeing other cases of this. Now, I myself personally was heavily invested in the Kanika Jenkins case. That is the case that still bothers me to this day. Because again, I am a mom and a person, a woman. Um, but this new trend of frenemies and people just engaging with people that they really don't care for, and then participating in, it's just foul. Um, and I pray that God does exactly what He does best. Um, ain't no good gonna come to y'all. I'm just gonna say it. God forgive me for it, but ain't no good coming to y'all. Y'all going to hell with gasoline draws on. ASAP. I pray that her family gets the justice that they deserve. Um, and as you know, a community, we need to continue to push this case, this story, and others like it, um, because there are a lot of young women, and especially young African American women and children, that are going missing, um, and being unalived at a rapid, rapid pace. So, shout out to us for pushing this story, sharing it, keeping it in the forefront. I am in absolute awe of my people for coming together and unifying on this issue, and just pushing the envelope and fighting for justice for this young woman, because she absolutely deserves justice, as does her family. Now, because I'm gonna get off of that before I get in my flesh, because I'm really hot about that. So anyway, after seeing that, I again, I'm on TikTok now, which is thoroughly entertaining. The things you see on TikTok. Um, but I've been running across a lot of really inspirational, um, and encouraging things. And as you all know, as my followers, and for those who don't know, you may be new to the channel. And if you are, welcome. I apologize. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Hopefully, you find something um, within my story that encourages you to push forward, because that's what this platform is for. I share my traumas, in hopes that I can inspire and help you to begin, or wherever you are in your healing journey, um, because I'm living proof that it can be done. I wrote a book. It's called She Emerged, The Manifestation of Me. And in this book, I touch on some pivotal, not all, but some of the pivotal traumatic moments in my life. And I explore how those things affected me, how they shaped my character, and how I was able to undo it all and walk out of it and live. And so, my prayer is, when I got to a place where I was able to be candid about those things, um, that I wanted to be the person that I needed when I was a child. I wanted somebody to hear me. I wanted somebody to advocate for me, be there for me, support me, love me through it. And so that is always my goal. My goal is to encourage you, to be a listening ear, to be an advocate where I can be, to be a voice for those who are often unheard and overlooked. And I try my best to explore the more challenging topics, not just in the world, but in the African American community. Um, and try to get some resolve for us. I champion for chain breakers, generational curse breakers, because as for me and my family, those generational curses ran rapid until they ran into me. And I refuse for my children or my children's children, for my bloodline to continue to suffer for generational traumas. So that is who I am. That is my purpose, in purpose, and on purpose. Um, and I do this with purpose. So that is me. And again, welcome. And I pray that you find something that will help you along the way from these videos and my story. So um, again, this case kind of brought me to a place where I feel like the discussion needs to happen about friendships and relationships and connections and some of the things, people, places that we attach ourselves to or allow ourselves to be attached to for whatever reason. Um, and a lot of times when you're in a space of just trying to heal and wanting something new, you become vulnerable. One thing I learned is people see you coming. They see you before you see you. Not all, but most. So if there is a light in you, if there is a greater purpose in you, there are people who see you before you do, and they'll attract themselves to that for whatever reason. Um, and it's usually not a good reason. And so we need to be more aware, especially in this day, age, and time, of our surroundings. And that includes everything. We've always been taught prayerfully um, to be mindful of ourselves and who we surround ourselves with. But I think that it is a conversation that needs to be pushed more because of what this next generation is facing. Um, a lot of times we rely on the lessons that our elders taught us, but I can honestly say that the lessons that I was taught from my elders um, weren't didn't really apply or don't really apply to some of the things that I am facing today. They taught lessons that were appropriate for their time, and some of them apply, but most of them do not because we are facing a whole other set of challenges that they just didn't see. I unfortunately, um, had the privilege to experience some of that era, but I also um, crossed over into this digital era, the millennial era. So I have a different perspective and probably one of the better perspectives um, because I have the best, was in, blessed to be able to see the best of both worlds. And I feel like we should be sharing those experiences and championing for these young people. Um, so there are a few types of people that I've encountered in this world and engaged with, for better or for worse. I am a person who likes solitude. I self isolate. I engage when it's convenient or comfortable for me, but for the most part, I don't mind being alone. I'm a loner. But I went through a period where I was trying to do something different. I wanted to change my perspective and really working on myself. And so while I was in this period of healing, and working on one of the many things that traumatized me, I started to create and engage in different social circles. And so when I saw this particular post that I saw, and it was actually on Instagram, I was like flabbergasted, like, oh, wow, I've been there and I've done that. And it was discussing, different types of people and people that you should be aware of and red flags that come up when engaging with these people. And so the first type of person that this post described was the opportunistic person. So, and in my experience, because I'm always going to speak from my perspective, in my experience, person, this is the type of person that will attach themselves to you, go out of their way to befriend you because they see an opportunity in you. For me, it was the fact that I can be, when I love you, I love you. And so, and I love with my whole heart. And I will give you literally the shirt off my back. If you are my friend or you are somebody that I love and I have $1 and you need 90 cents, I'm the idiot that will give it to you. And I say that because yeah, I can clown myself because that's foolishness. But it was because I lacked boundaries. Um, I felt that I was making the world better by over loving people who didn't really reciprocate that, and it was dumb. But when you know better, you do better. So, I found myself attached to these types of people that because they knew I loved hard and I would give and I would go out of my way to ensure that my friends never went without, even if it cost me something, um, I tended to attract this type of person. But what I learned was when the opportunity passed, or I was no longer useful, or another opportunity bigger and greater than what I had to offer came along, these people would distance themselves from me. They were unavailable for me and to me. And so I had a lot of transition and I was confused as to why. Like, well, what happened? We were great friends and now there's this space and distance between us. And as I started to pay attention and recognize um, where these people were putting their time and energy now and interacting with, there was more of an opportunity. It was very much something self-serving. Um, well, they had something else going on. So, when you come across that person, and it doesn't have to be um, ministry or anything like that. It's okay. You're building a business, and so this person just wants to be around so they can say, "Oh yeah, I was around and I helped her with that." Or they have their own invested interest and they're trying to piggyback off of your coattail. So yeah, beware of the person that is always on someone else's coattail. If if everybody around this person has built and is building and is working towards something, and this particular person really has nothing of their own but is always attached to what someone else is doing, red flag. Because when the opportunity no longer suits them with you, they're going to move on to the next opportunity after you foolishly giving them everything that you thought you could to nurture their relationship, um, and it leaves you feeling like you weren't enough. Well, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them, and nothing they put their hand to, as far as I'm concerned, is going to prosper when you do people like that. So beware of the opportunistic person who never has anything of their own. I'm going to say it again, but is always attached to something that belongs to someone else. Because if you're around that many successful people that are building, there you should be gleaning from them. You should be, learning from them to build your own. And especially when they're extremely supportive people, those people could help you. But there are a lot of people who are just lazy and would rather piggyback off of what everybody else got going on. And that's just the truth. So the next type of person will be the person that pretends to be perfect to make other people feel bad about themselves. Mm. So these are the type of people that pretend like everything that is, or portray that everything in their life is going so well and they're doing everything right and they've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, but are constantly thumbing their nose down at other people. Listen when people talk and how they interact with other people. If they come off very haughty or they're always self proclaimed busy, I have meetings, I have this, I have that. Okay. But this is also the person who does not support anything that anyone else does. Like, okay, we're in a social media age. So you have a business or you're promoting a class or whatever it is that you could be doing. And this person is always proclaiming their importance or portraying their importance. Um, and if you go and you check their social media page and this person is supposed to be your friend and they've not shared, promoted, spoke about anything that you're doing, they'll praise you in your face, but they will not share it with anyone else. They will not help you promote it unless it benefits them. That is a red flag. That person is not your friend. If what you're giving in the friendship is not reciprocated, and that doesn't mean if I choose to be to be an overgiver, that's my choice. I don't expect anybody to reciprocate that. But friendship should be just that. It's a relationship, and so we want to see each other win. So if this person is only propelling themselves and not really trying to propel you, then or finding a reason or excuse not to promote a oh, I can't do it this week. There's always an excuse as to why um, what you're doing is less important than what they're doing, then that is a red flag. Pay attention to that. Because 9 times out of 10, unless there's extenuating circumstances, that person's not your friend. Now, this also goes hand in hand with the other part of that. Um, if this person also is always creating doubt. There's really not much positive coming out of their mouth to what you're trying to do or accomplish. There's you is usually met with a win, but you can't, you shouldn't. Maybe that's just not for you, and you and not coming up with valid reasons why it's not just an excuse to discourage. And it's consistent. There's rarely, if anything, that they're encouraging you to do other than assist them with whatever they got going on, not your friend. Reevaluate that relationship because it's clearly an unhealthy one. Because if I can help you and I can support you, but you never have the time, energy, or choose to put any effort in supporting me, um, and the only thing you can do is demean what I'm trying to accomplish, then you're not my friend. If you're not giving me an alternate solution, or well, don't do it this way, maybe do it that way, or um, how about you try this because that doesn't really fit your personality, but this will definitely do well for you. There's a difference in that. There's a big difference in being honest and having what my good girlfriend likes to call courageous conversation and just simply tearing somebody down because you don't want them to to succeed or be successful. Um, those are the people that don't don't mind feeding you from the table, but don't ever want you to have a seat at the table. Be mindful of that. And then you have the other people, you know, the people that you sit around and you ever wonder, and I've again, these are all things that I've experienced, and you're the butt of all the jokes. They're always demeaning. Um, I had a person that I used to engage with, and it was always some rude backhanded compliment or joke or something where they were like throwing my past up in my face, like we would be in mixed company and they would bring up something from 20 some odd years ago, um, in an effort to try to demean my character or humiliate me. Newsflash. So everybody has a past. I'm not ashamed of mine. Um, but again, this person thought that it was cute to do that. Meanwhile, you sitting over there with a whole basket of stuff that I haven't called you on, but I won't do that. And I won't do that because it's not who I am. But you took pleasure in demeaning me and trying to come for my character. Um, be aware of those people that you are always the butt of the jokes. Where the joke is, and they're hurtful jokes, and not even funny jokes. They're just hurtful jokes. A person trying to make a spectacle of you. That's not a friend because my friend should never want to see me hurt. My friend should never want to bring up hurtful things and laugh about it at my expense. I should never. Your entertainment should never be my pain or my missteps or my mistakes, unless it's something we mutually agree on that we did stupid together, and we're joking about that. But that just it just should never be. People who take shots at you through jokes and laugh about it probably don't really like you. The other type of person is people who don't mind calling you out on what they feel you've done wrong, But if you reciprocate that, you a whole lie. They love to place blame, but don't accept any. They're never wrong. It is always you and not them. And they will hard down, get down in the paint and fight you about it and make every excuse in the world as to why they are right and you are wrong. That's not a friend. Because if you do something to hurt me or to offend me, even if you didn't mean to do it, an apology is still an apology. Maybe you didn't mean to do it. That doesn't mean I'm not doing an apology. Even if what you said was true, did you say it in the appropriate setting? How was it said? Was it a dig? You were wrong. Why is it so hard for you to apologize? Those people who are never ever wrong and never take any responsibility are quick to say, I don't receive that, I didn't do that, or that's not how I meant it, so that doesn't make me wrong. Beware, not really your friend. Because real friends don't mind calling each other on their foolishness. My circle, they get on my nerves, but I love them because they are not afraid to have courageous conversations with me. When I'm on my BS, when I'm acting a fool, they don't have a problem saying, you tried it, cut it out, reel it in. So, amongst my group, I am the Peter of the group. If you know anything about the Bible, you know Peter was a host of things. So depending on the day, depending on the mode, will depend on which version of Peter you get. I'm either walking on water and praying for the people and encouraging the people, or I'm troubling the water and going off. Okay, because I'm still being delivered from the temper. Um, but those are the friends that will pull my coattail and be like, "You dead wrong," and not in a way to demean or hurt me, but to correct me and make me see myself. And when it's delivered in the right way, it's easy to receive and correct the behavior and apologize. But for the ones that use it to try to cut you down and break your spirit, because again, they'd rather have you broken and need them. Some people need to be needed. And so that's how they keep, certain people that they deem weaker under them is by demeaning them, hitting those pain points all the time, making sure that they're constantly reminded of their failures. Um, Trying to make them feel less than worthy while smiling in their face and calling them friend. That is not your friend. That is not your friend. People who only engage with you because of what you have to offer them or what they perceive you have to offer them, that is dangerous. Be mindful, um, and just be aware. Pay attention. Don't get so comfortable in a relationship that you start ignoring the things that make you uncomfortable. Most of us have, if we pay attention to, an intuition. Trust your gut. When your gut tells you that something is not right, acknowledge it. Be aware of it. Don't let loneliness or fear of isolation or being shut out uh, put you in a position to where it could cost you something. And unfortunately, in this day and time, it is costing some of our children their lives and some of us our lives. Because let's not forget about the mom, the football mom, the only black mom who went to the football sleepover and never made it home. So it can and is happening. So I say all of this because these were things that I have experienced myself. To God be the glory. It didn't cost me my life, but some of the situations were hurtful. Uh, some of the loss of relationships was very hurtful to me, and it was a heavy season. But I understand. I would rather have my peace of mind than be in a relationship with someone who doesn't truly value me, who truly doesn't see me for my now, that doesn't see the potential in me, that doesn't believe in me, and that doesn't support me because that's not friendship and that's not love. So I pray that you receive this information as it was intended. I hope and pray that it helps somebody, that you can take the best part for yourself. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Hit me up. Let me know what you think, what you thought, anything you want to talk about. Um, and I will see you next time. As always, the sun rises and sets alone every day and still manages to shine. The moon rises alone every night and still manages to light someone's way. Be the light and don't let anyone steal your joy. Catch you next time. Thank you for watching.
Reaping season, and I shall reap the harvest of my labor as promised. I have been called, I am a willing vessel.